Both going in the in or no.
Yo,
The dynamic duo.
That freaks me out. I was like, okay, well now you're both here, which is good. Good Lord. I was like, okay, so that's Ian.
Okay, we're gonna get started here. So today we have a jam-packed, fun schedule. We're gonna do campus and community spotlights, shout outs. I'm gonna give you an update about the President's Dinner. Ooh. And then we're gonna have Bree do our Academics 1 presentation. I'm gonna give you guys the outline prior to that, so you can literally be like writing down your whole outline as Bree is doing the presentation, right? We then are gonna be doing a Jeopardy, and we're gonna divide you guys up into 4 teams. Make sure that you kind of know your stuff before we do then our second quiz. The second quiz covers all the information from Academics 1, so it's stuff like core, placement, math. So we're gonna make sure that you guys are all up to speed with our Jeopardy and then hit you with the quiz. And then the next assignment is gonna be the Academics 1 outline, which is due next Thursday. We're gonna be practicing our Academics 1 presentations on Tuesday, so you guys get a little bit more comfortable. You can go in and edit your outlines before you turn them in if you find that when you're presenting, you wanna present something in a different way, and then ultimately turn it in before midnight. We are actually going to do snack pack before the quiz, so as soon as you guys finish your quiz and turn them in, you'll be good to go. For campus and community spotlights, there is a Shucking Society film series, which is actually really cool. It's basically about breaking gender norms and societal and cultural norms. So their first film is going to be showing this week. It's sponsored by Health Advancement, and it's going to be at 6:30. You do have to RSVP, but everything is taking place online, so you can actually watch it from the comfort of your home, which is kind of cool. We also then have Giving Day. Does anyone know what Giving Day is? Yes?
So it's basically MSU, all of the clubs and different organizations like the Voice Centers and all that kind of stuff, all have different things they want to raise money for, and so we ask everybody to donate money to us so we can fund our programs.
Correct, yeah. So Giving Day is essentially this like mass fundraiser for all things MSU. So there are going to be over 200 different organizations and causes. One of them, for example, is going to be like outdoor rec and outdoor education and avalanche education. One of them this last year was I'm trying to think, there's like a ton, right? So like the Voice Center, so any specific organization or cause on campus that needs a little bit of assistance. This is a mass effort. So if you guys have like family that went to MSU, or if you have neighbors or friends, this is something to promote because ultimately it benefits everyone. One of the biggest causes is scholarships, which ultimately then benefit you guys. So if you hear about Giving Day, feel free to promote it to folks. The big day or the big website is going to be givingday.montana.edu, and then that will take you to all the different causes. This is also something for you guys to keep in mind if you're a part of an organization or a cause right now that maybe needs funding in the future or needs help with that. You guys can opt to be a part of Giving Day next year as well. Any questions about either of those? What other campus and community spotlights do we have? What else is happening on campus this week? Trisha.
Identify selling roses and stuff, right? From the market on Friday from 10 to 3.
Selling roses.
Yeah, for Valentine's Day. Come buy roses for yourself or your friend or whoever you want to.
Very nice. What other causes? Anything else someone wants to highlight? Yeah.
If you're a part of the lifelong population of school or studying appointments, is open up today, so go sign up for your study group.
Yeah, that's a really great point. So if you are in phase 1B, we did a mass vaccination effort over the weekend. We were able to vaccinate over 800 students, which is huge. So we are opening up additional appointments that are going to be available, but cool effort. They also had all of our nursing students be the one to administer those. So it was actually a really cool effort to also give some of those students experience, since right now they can't be in the hospitals. So
Do it.
This is just like a question. Do we know when they're gonna start rolling out like the next phase on campus?
I think a lot of that is dependent on the state.
Okay.
So what I did is I ultimately signed up for the Gallatin County updates through like text message, and that includes a lot of updates that impact the school ultimately too. But I'll let you guys know if I hear more, but as of right now, I don't think they have a plan for some of the next phases or those exact dates. Other questions or other campus? Yeah.
I trained for those on Monday, Friday,
Ice rink, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 to 8. You could do that with your returner groups. How darling would that be?
You have to sign up online.
You do have to sign up online. So you have to be an organized returner group. Yeah.
Oh, just you can't go Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Okay, no Tuesdays or Thursdays. Specifically Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay.
What if they have like states you can rent somewhere or you?
You guys are both nodding your heads.
Listen, okay, yes, you can rent skates. You just can't rent them. You can do same day rentals on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But if you want to rent skates on a Tuesday or Thursday, you have to reserve them in advance.
And it's that outdoor rent.
And they're like $4.
Yeah, super cheap.
And it's like 2-day rentals. Like they
can't go.
it's not on campus.
It's
But
not
there's
on
an ice
campus.
rink right off campus over just off college.
South side?
Yeah, it's not like, yeah.
And
They have like
Casco,
Go ice skate. Was
Beach
there
ice
other?
and skate on ice.
Was there other question? Did you guys see that the Mighty Ducks movie is now going to be a series? Speaking of ice skating and hockey, it was really like my 90s kid and me got very nostalgic. All right, shout outs. Any shout outs? Tristan?
Shout out to Tia for conveying my ideas for the shirt when I was incapacitated.
Yes, third day shirt design. So thank you to that team that put in a lot of really good ideas and efforts. We'll give you guys some updates soon. Julia?
Shout out Jamie. She gave me a ride to my doctor's appointment.
Shout out, very kind. Other shout outs?
I have another shout out.
Okay.
Shout out to Jess for helping me organize a movie night for our sophomore surge mentees.
Nice. Love that. Movie night, sophomore surge.
Shout out to Taylor because I asked her where like one little lake was and then she gave me a bunch of like backpacking stuff.
Wow,
Nice.
backpacking, love that. Winter backpacking in like negative 20-degree weather. Let's do it. Any other shout outs? I love all of the love though. Very Valentine's. All right, President's Dinner. Okay, so essentially this is a photo from our previous President's Dinners. These are some old orientation leaders. So essentially, usually we have a dinner that is hosted at the President's house that recognizes some different student groups on campus. So that includes our tour guides, the advocates, our orientation leaders, and ASMSU Senate. We essentially obviously can't offer that, in pandemic times, we can't go over to President Cruzado's house and dine out with her. So instead, we are going to be doing it in Lee Lounge. It's going to be at 6 p.m. and they're just going to have it organized in shifts. And it's, I didn't put the date on here, but I have the date in my email. It's going to be in April or March. April 15th, yes, April 15th. Great. So on April 15th, we're going to factor that into class. So if you guys ultimately wrap up a few minutes early, then everyone can kind of go in shifts to get a grab and go dinner. She'll be there in her blue and gold, greeting everyone, chatting with everyone. So kind of still a nice effort that they're trying to recognize everyone, even though it's during a pandemic. So this is the alternative to that. All right, with that, Bree's gonna come up and do the Academics 1 presentation. So you guys have heard lots of this information, but like I said, this is an opportunity for you to be writing down notes throughout this entire presentation. So when you go home, you already have your outline done. Some of this information might be repetitive. Some of it is new. Some of it you've never heard before. And so pay attention, returners. We ask that you really update your outlines because I was reading through your guys' What's Up outlines. Some of you guys didn't update some details, so make sure that you're updating as changes are made. For this presentation, it is 45 minutes. That includes an icebreaker, so it's ultimately going to be a little bit shorter today. This is going to be given at our in-person sessions, right? But it's also good information for you guys to know because during the online orientation, these are essentially a lot of the questions that you get. This is the bulk of the things that you will be dealing with for helping students through registration. It is going to be given in a style like this, so you guys can prepare to like have different sites that you can pull up, you can reference printed material, and ultimately just use a lot of examples and a lot of personal experience for your students. For our returners, we have one PowerPoint, the PowerPoint that Bree's gonna pull up, that you guys are gonna use for all. You guys are not gonna be doing a PowerPoint specific to each college, okay? You can, if you're speaking to a specific group of students, you can obviously use those examples and pull in that curriculum, but ultimately you guys are not gonna be responsible for editing any PowerPoints or all of that messy stuff that has been going on for the last few years. So this is ultimately the PowerPoint that you can reference. It's already uploaded on D2L, so you guys can look at this PowerPoint as you're writing your outlines. And then with that, this is also the PowerPoint that you guys are gonna be practicing with on Tuesday. Does that all make sense? Yeah.
I just want to make sure, like, this is like the WhatsApp outline where we're like writing every word that we're gonna say.
Jamie had truly the most detailed WhatsApp outline I've ever seen in my whole life. Yes, but it doesn't necessarily need to be like full, like I am writing every single word I'm saying, but essentially like examples that you are using, what specific ways you are describing really complex situations, topics, like all of those pieces should be written out. Other questions?
If anybody wants to see one, I am using mine today.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Imagine all of you are my students. And it's summer and it's really hot outside and you're like dying of sweat. Okay, so this is the academics one meeting. So basically this is going to be super educational for all of you guys. The purpose of this is I'm going to go over stuff like the course catalog, parts of your degree. I'm going to go over like courses, course placement, core, academic advising, all that sort of stuff. We need to edit that slide. We're not going over fee payment. That's going to be in a different presentation. Basically, you don't want to forget any of this, so I highly recommend taking notes. So, going over the course catalog, in past years, we've always split this up kind of into like 3 sections. So basically, the first section is going to be like the general information. So that'll be all of the stuff like the academic term calendar, the code of conduct, breakdown of cost, all of that sort of stuff. The second part is all of your majors and academic programs. So you can see everything that we offer, all of the majors, all of the programs, all of the minors, that sort of stuff. And then the last part is about class description. So this is where you can go through and you can see all of the classes that we do offer, when they're offered, and all of that sort of stuff. I'll take you to that link. Oh, beautiful. So we used to hand out huge chunky books, but now we don't because it's all very lovely on the internet. So as you can see, here we've got all of the colleges, so you can go through and like choose a major. So, for example, I'm in the College of Engineering. I don't know. Technology. Basically, you can see all of the stuff that you would need in the 4 years that you're here for every semester. All of your electives, how many credits you should be taking each semester, all of that sort of stuff. We've recently added the COVID-19 addendum, so this is just part of what goes on campus now that we have COVID procedures in place. And all of this. So basically this entire course catalog is like your contract. So you don't sign an official contract when you come to campus, but if you were to ever need to reference the code of conduct, everything is going to be right in here. So like your federal right to privacy, campus crime, all of that sort of stuff. So let's talk academic terminology. Does anybody know what a curriculum is? This is where you answer. Lindy. Wonderful. Okay. Semester. Typically we'd have candy and we like chuck it at people. But I don't know if that's COVID safe. So just pretend I'm chucking fake candy. Semester. Chris. Beautiful. Courses. A class. A class. Yay. What were it? A credit. A general description of credit. Anybody?
Credit is for the degree, so like 1 hour. Goes with like 1 hour in class, so that's usually our process.
Beautiful. Credit load. How many credits? How many credits? Perfect. Grading scale. It's a little general. In the back. 4.0, exactly. Beautiful. Academic standing. 2.0 is in good academic standing, yes. Prerequisite and co-requisite. Chris again.
Prerequisite required to be taken before the class of co-requisite need to be able to take it while you're in class.
Beautiful. And we'll talk about core later. So, exactly, curriculum. All of this is the combination of the courses that you will take as your program of study to the completion of a degree. And we'll go over the 4 parts of a degree in a few slides. Semester, exactly. We here at MSU have 2 semesters. Some people have like 3 semesters or trimesters or whatever they're called. But we have a fall and a spring. We also offer summer courses and snowmaster courses. Snowmaster is new this past year. The course exactly is the classes that you are taking. So they can be all the way from 100 to 400 level. Typically we say 100 is like your freshman class, and then your 400 level classes are going to be like your senior classes. So for example, this semester I'm in a lot of 300 and 400 level classes because I'm graduating this semester. And then your 0 level classes, these are going to be, these aren't going to count towards full time, but these are like developmental classes if you come in with like a low math, like placement and all of that sort of stuff. But we'll talk about that later. Credit, exactly, a 1 credit is 1 hour of in-class time per week. So if you're taking a 3 credit class, you're typically going to have class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example. And it is recommended that you do study 2 to 3 hours outside of that credit that you're taking. So credit load, 15 credits is what we recommend, like freshman 15. That, if you multiply that by 8 semesters, that is going to be a perfect. You're going to graduate in 4 years, but a full time is only 12 credits. For example, now that it's my last semester, I'm only taking 14 credits, 12 credits in this class. So it can really vary, but in past I've taken, 16 credits, 18 credits, all of that sort of stuff. Just depends on what classes are available each semester. You do need 120 credits to graduate. There are some exceptions. For example, the College of Engineering typically will require 128 credits. 42 of those do have to be upper division. So like I said, I am in a lot of 300 and 400 level classes. So that is kind of, the upper division is going to be the 300 and 400 level classes. But if you want to get a minor here on campus, you are going to need to take 21 to 30 additional credits for that. And that's typically super easy to fit into a 4-year degree. Some people do an extra semester for that, all personal preference. Grading scale, like we said, 4.0. We aren't weighted, so we just have 4.0. And you do need a 2.0 cumulative GPA to be above good academic standing. And you do need a 2.0 at least to graduate. So then, just some little terminology. The days of the week that you will see on your classes. M, Monday, T, Tuesday. The big one to point out is Thursday. It's just an R. So it's not TH, it's just R. Any questions before we move on?
What exactly does like our probation
Like probation?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, once you fall into academic probation, you have to go to an MSU 101 course. So that means they just like get you back on, like, make sure that like you're doing okay. They give you a lot of resources. So that's like if you've like failed a class or stuff like that. I think. Anything else to add to that?
Yeah,
If-
so if you get below 2.0, you're on suspension, right? So you're like kind of in trouble. But
Yeah.
then if you get, no, is it suspension or probation?
It's just probation,
Just
2
probation.
semesters.
But if, yeah, if you're on probation for a long time, they're like, boom, you're done. You've got to figure some stuff out. And you're gonna take a minute off from school to
Yeah.
do that.
Exactly.
Yes.
But they're gonna like shove resources at you if you go on the probation. So
I know one of my friends got accepted to this year, like, upcoming year, but she's on academic probation. So she just has to like stay, like, it doesn't matter what she does this semester, but like this, like, next semester, she has a 2 point that she's doing. But if she's not doesn't get it, then she can't come back.
Yeah. It's basically MSC's way of like just making sure that like you're doing good in school. So if you don't, pass your classes, they're gonna be super concerned about you. Yeah, did you have something to add?
And then also academic probation depends on like the severity of not failure, that's a very mean thing to say. But of like the way in which your GPA drops. So for instance, like if you get like a 1.5, you're gonna get academic probation. If you get like a 0.5, you might be more, you might receive more repercussions and a tighter leash.
And keep in mind too, the financial aid piece, right?
Yeah.
So Sheila had mentioned that you need to show progress towards your degree to be receiving financial aid and scholarships. So often students become more affected by financial aid more immediately than they do actually being on.
Okay, any other questions before we move on? Beautiful. So, parts of a degree. There are 4 different parts. So as you can see, they are split up percentage-wise. First, you're gonna have your major requirement classes. This is gonna be the biggest chunk of your degree. So these are classes that are specific to your major or specific to your area of study. Electives are gonna be one of the smaller ones. So that's like, for example, if you were like a microbiology major, you would take classes related to, like the College of Letters and Science, but they don't necessarily have to be like microbiology based. So they could be like immunology or like other examples. Foundational or prerequisites. So these are classes, for example, like if you were to take chemistry 141, then you need chemistry 143. Those are going to be prerequisites for like organic chemistry. So basically these are just going to be a foundation for you to build up, so that you're making sure that you can complete all of your like major requirement classes. And lastly, the other 25% is your core, which we will go over again in a few slides. So looking at course descriptions, this is what you're going to see in the course catalog. So if you search different classes that you want to take, this will pop up for you. So for example, you've got M171Q, which is Calculus 1. So there's a bunch of different stuff here that kind of explains. So for example, the M before is going to be which department it's in. So for this, it's going to be mathematics. 171 is your class number, so what level the class is. Like I said, the 100 levels are typically, your freshman, your like introductory levels. Q is going to stand for your core category, so we all know what that is, but that's going to fill your quantitative reasoning. Calculus 1, that's going to be the name of the actual class. Then it's going to tell you that it's 4 credits, so this would mean that you're in class typically for 4 hours of a week. So as you can see, this one has 4 lectures, so this would probably be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think. I don't know. I haven't taken a math class in a long time. And then F, S, and SU, that's going to be when it's available. So fall, spring, summer. Most of the time, classes will be offered most of these, but sometimes they're like spring-only classes. For example, soils, I had to take that class last semester. That's a spring or a fall-only class, simply because you do a lot of work out in the field, and you can't go look at soil when there's snow on the ground. So that would be an example of a fall only class. So this is an example of a class that would require a prerequisite, so sorry. So as you can see, chemistry 121 IN. So it's going to have a core class on there, but it is going to need a prerequisite. You'll see MO96 or MO97. Class types. Does anybody want to explain to me what a lecture is? Lindy.
You sit in a lecture hall and the professor tells you things.
Exactly what I'm doing to you right now. Beautiful. What is a laboratory? Yes.
Or does it do like, you're doing something on?
Totally.
Whether that's like working on this hour or.
Beautiful. Recitation. Let's see, all the way back.
We talked about it like this whole.
Seminar?
It's a more discussion-based type class.
Wonderful. And lastly, we have a studio. Look at that. Okay.
Like building things, hands-on art projects.
Yeah, totally. So you'll see the studios typically in like architecture or like ceramics. Art. Yes. Okay. So college level credit, there's a couple ways you can come in with some extra credit. You can have some AP scores, IB scores. You can have credits from another school that you transfer, or an MUS school, or credits from an out-of-state school. So with these, they do have their own kind of requirements. So advanced placement exams, you're gonna need a 3 or better to get into college credit, 4 or better on higher level exams for IB exams. The nice thing that we do have is if you click on this link, if you're ever questioning about what credit would transfer, this is going to tell you everything that you would ever need to know. So if you scroll like down, you can see your AP, you can see your IB, like equivalencies, or you can see dual enrollment. So that's if you attend a different university, you can see which credits will transfer to our university.
Lindsay, do you want to pull up the dual credit one just because I don't think we've shown that before?
Is that the one on my info?
It is. So this transfer equivalency guide shows students any credit that we've received from a specific institution in the past. So if they've taken a class that we've never seen before, it does not mean they don't get credit. It just means we haven't seen it before. So, okay.
I chose Arkansas.
Arkansas. So we've received credit from Arkansas, so they can literally pull it up, see what course it is equivalent to at MSU, and then how many credits are coming in. But again, if they've taken a class we haven't seen, they send us a transcript, we review it. But this is a really helpful guide to help students as they register for courses as a quick record.
Okay, math placement. So this is going to be determined by your highest level in any of the following. So in the past year, we haven't required students to take the ACT or the SAT. So for example, they could be basing it off of your high school GPA. But in past years, we just go straight off of the ACT and the SAT. We also can go off of college level credit. So that's if you've taken a class before, then you could be put into a higher class, or we have the Ed Ready soft placement. So we kind of went over that for class periods, but if you were my students, you wouldn't have known this previously. But that's where you can, over the summer, you can take an exam and they'll tell you what your score is, but if you want a higher score, you can basically spend some extra time studying up, learning some more stuff. You can advance up to 2 levels. So going back into Ed Ready, I guess this is kind of what I just went over to. So that soft placement, this is going to be taken prior to orientation. So you'll start at a level 100 and you'll take that exam all the way until you complete it. And then it will tell you what your score is. If you're not happy with that score, you can spend some more time online testing up. But this is on major dependent, so if you don't need to be at a level 5, then you don't have to place up for like a level 4. Like if you only need to be at a level 3, and you're at a level 3, then that's all you really need to do. So this is just for students that want to better themselves in math or start at a different level when they come into college. So, relating this to the math flow chart, got some stuff highlighted here. So on the left, you'll see there's the arts, humanity, and some social sciences. So these are the maths really that they're ever going to need when they come into college. Or we have the STEM, business, health, and some social sciences, some other social sciences. So for example, my major is plant biotechnology. I came into college at a level 5. I registered for Calculus 1, realized I don't need Calculus 1 for the major that I'm in. So I only ever took survey and calculus, and that's how far I needed to go in my major. So as I said, it's all major specific. If you are not, for example, at survey and calculus level though, which is level 400, as you can see in the parentheses, you'll start depending on which color, which math level you are in, and you can work your way up to the classes that you do need to do. Anything else I should say about math placement?
I think the big one is that level 300, right, in most cases, is going to be college ready to move forward with a lot of our other things. So like chemistry and statistics, for example, have a level 300 that you need to be placed into. You hear that a lot with chemistry.
So for the level 300, like in the 400, that doesn't mean like upper division.
No.
It's a different thing.
Yeah, so these are the classes, so like M161, not an upper division class because it starts with a 1. So this is just like your math level. So if you're level 5, you can start all the way at Calc 1. But it goes from like Calc 1 to Calc 2, Calc 3, Calc 4, all of that sort of stuff. So this is just like introductory. The only time you really need to know like your math level is when you are a freshman. Like you go on through college and you start taking classes, it's not gonna matter what level you're at, so, does that make sense? Okay, so writing placement. I know we haven't talked a whole lot about this one. So this is previously, your writing placement is going to be based on your, let's see, your college, either college level credit, your ACT, or your SAT. So I guess without us taking that, people are going to be taking a writing placement exam. So they do take it prior to orientation, and this will place students directly into RIT 101, or if they're not at RIT 101 level, they'll be placed into a developmental class. I guess that's about all that is. Writing placement is, I don't know, it's not as like strong as math placement, so you're not going to see it as often. But yeah, so now talking about foreign language. Foreign language is not required unless you are in the honors college. You do need to take 2 semesters of that. It is fully, we have tons of classes that you can take if you want. I know people do it majors, minors, all of that sort of stuff. And so your language, your placement is going to be determined again if you have college level credit. So if you've taken a Spanish class in high school through college, you can get credit there, CLEP or WebCave, which on the next slide. There's some couple differences between them. So the CLEP test, this is going to cost you about $100. So students must schedule it, and they go in and they take an exam, and it is nationally recognized, and you can earn credit this way. This unfortunately does not count towards your core credits though. So to get core credit for languages, you do have to take 2 semesters. WebCave though is $10. It's through the state of Montana, or it's MSC specific. And so you go straight in there, you take the exam, and then once, oh my goodness, I'm getting kind of lost in my words here. Once you pass your first MSC language course, okay, so it'll place you into a class. Once you pass that class, you'll get credit for everything below it. And so that can count towards core. Or you've got your college level credit, which direct equivalencies or electives, you would use that one transfer equivalency guide, and that would tell you. Can count towards core, but not always. So that's like class specific. Any questions? Yeah.
Is there a credit limit on like the WebCave?
Ooh.
On how many credits you're awarded for taking the WebCave?
Yeah, so like say you tested the like Spanish 4.
I want to say that.
I'm actually not sure.
I also Okay.
That's a question for modern languages.
Which is in Games 117.
Which is in but I'm not quite sure if they would retroactively place it to like Spanish 5, if they would give you credit for all that. Alex?
I'm pretty sure my roommate, like, history, at least it's level 3, is getting everything below it.
Maybe one, no.
I'm pretty sure you can that, like, everything below it. It may just like.
Chris, yeah. Yes, Chris?
So I know some of the freshmen summer classes like don't want you to be above so like you get around that. Like, how does that like actually like practice?
How does that actually what?
Like work? Like what do we do when like registering on the class? So like say a freshman like comes to like 1:30.
Yeah, advisor or the registrar's office will override if a student is an incoming freshman, but their credit load is above like 30, for example, they show as a sophomore status, so it won't let them register the system. So you would just get help through their advisor to the registrar's office to do.
So it's like not to advisor.
Well, we'll work with you guys in terms of what those online office hours look like. So students are running into those problems. We have like a whole guide that planners will have. It'll say, if you were doing an office hour on this time, you call this person.
When in doubt, go to an advisor.
Good question.
With the languages, if say the student is transferring or took summer classes at a private school, like would language students at the private school count?
That would be using the transfer quote guide, like, just again.
Yeah, so that would basically be dependent on how they would evaluate the transcript, not necessarily the, because I don't know if they offer all of this.
It's kind of like backtracking, for the course catalog, if you have a student that's undecided, how can they still use the course catalog like
Ooh. Honestly, the way that I used it, I was undecided, and the way that I used it was by looking at the different degree programs that I was interested in, or that kind of caught my eye, and seeing like, oh, I need calculus for that, not taking that class. So like, I don't know, or not deciding that major. So I would advise them to just check it out and find things that are interesting to them, and look at that, because that's what I did, and it really helped a lot.
Yeah, and as you saw when I like scrolled through it, it shows you like every class you
Yeah.
need in the 4 years. Like it goes all the way up to senior year, and then it'll show you like the electives that you can take.
And like when to take stuff.
Yeah, when
You don't
to
have
take
do
stuff.
anything.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So basically, use it as like personal preference. Like, yeah, this sounds really fun. You're like, no, I don't want to take calculus.
One new site that they have developed for this exact conversation as well is essentially now if you guys look at the academics, if I can find it on here. The academics college and departments page. And if you click on, no, this is not what I'm trying to do. Majors and degrees. There we go. Majors and degrees. So they basically have this where if you click on something like, I might be interested in biochemistry, then they have these write-ups, and it also then gives you suggestions on careers, career resources, first year classes, second year classes. It says you might also be interested in these majors. So it's kind of facilitating that conversation of exploration amongst all of these different areas of stuff. If you are on the main web, montana.edu, and you go to about MSU majors and degrees. It's montana.edu/academics. And then you can also type in stuff like math, and it will bring up stuff that requires or is tied to math. So like health, for example, is a better one. It's going to bring up everything that's related to health, even if it doesn't have health in the name.
That's fun. Well, then that.
That's super neat.
Today's so much fun. Oops, wrong one. Oops, not word. Where did it go? Did you close out of it, Shannon?
No.
There. Oh, there it is. Sorry. I'm blind.
now we're going to talk about core. So as you can see, we've got this lovely chart about core. So it's split up into foundation and ways of knowing. There are 10 categories, and they may be built into your curriculum depending on what you're taking. For example, as I said, I'm a biotechnology major, so a lot of the like natural sciences, I've taken an R class that's just been like automatically built in. So that's all major specific though. You must receive a C or better, C minus or better, so sorry, in a core class to get the credit for it. And you may be exempt from some of them if you do have college level credit. So now we're just going to quickly breeze through all of them. So the first one is writing. The only class that will satisfy this is Grit 101. So this class is going to teach you how to write, different styles to write. It's going to teach creative, expository, and all of that sort of stuff. And it's going to prepare you for writing essays in any class that you would need. And there are exemptions if you have, you're totally fine. Any of those, you can be exempt from taking Grit 101. University seminar, so these are going to be your smaller classes as we talked about seminars. So about 15 people, they are discussion based. Typically you will like read a book, read an article, watch a video, watch a podcast. You'll come to class and you'll discuss it. And you do typically write some like essays in there. Basically it's going to build community. I'm still kind of friends with some of the people that I used to have my seminar with, so you can build some really awesome connections there. Examples of these classes, US 101 is just a basic first year seminar, but we've also got some like major specific ones. So like BGen 104 US is going to be business and entrepreneurship. The only way that you get out of taking the top ones is if you were an honors student, you are required to take honors 201, which is text and critics, and you do have to take 2 semesters of that. Quantitative reasoning is your math. So not every math class will fall into a Q category, but this is like there may be math prerequisites for chemistry, physics, statistics, so these might just automatically fall into your curriculum. Examples, M105Q, contemporary mathematics, again, like survey of calculus, that's what I had to take, fell automatically into my curriculum. Diversity. What is a diversity class and why is it important?
Sorry, I have a question about the quantitative reasoning. So, like, I know for me, I took stats 216 because that wasn't required for my major, it's only science. Would that be something I would tell my students?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can't constantly use for research methods.
Yeah, totally. Stats is like definitely a good one. Like I had to take stats as well. So honestly, like so many people will have to take stats. So definitely that's a perfect example to tell your students. We love personal experience. All right, back to diversity. So these are going to develop an informed understanding of multiple identities and cultures, and it's going to help you think critically about all of these subjects. So we have tons of diversity classes. For example, this semester I'm in Anthropology 101. That's super fun. I get to learn about all of that stuff. But we've got like Intro to Native American Studies, Intro to International Business. And as you can see, we've got tons of different categories, like some History 1, like that's completely different than like anthropology that I'm taking. So very diverse amount of classes that come in this category. Contemporary issues in science. So these are going to be like your natural sciences, except you're going to go more in depth on what role they play in like the society. So what's going on in the world? How do we solve these issues? How do they tie to our daily lives? All that sort of stuff. So again, you'll see these classes, issues in sustainability. Perfect example of how this like could play a role in our like daily lives and society. Insects and human society. Water resources. Inquiry in natural sciences. So these are a fun one. Like I said, I'm a biotechnology major, so most of the time this is going to be like directly linked into your curriculum. If, for example, that's the same major that you have. If you're like poli-sci major, though, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of this stuff built into your curriculum. So this is where you would probably have to go out of your comfort zone to take a different class. So these are probably going to be like hands-on experience with labs. So as you can see, like Intro to General Chemistry, that's probably going to have a lab where you're working hands-on. with different chemicals and all that fun stuff. Never heard of this class before. Dinosaurs?
That sounds sick.
That's very cool. And has anybody taken that class? No, okay. Look into it. I will do that. That sounds fun. I know the Yellowstone Scientific Lab, super amazing class, a lot of hands-on experience since we are so close to Yellowstone. I think this one is only available in probably fall semester. Super hands-on though. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that class. Inquiry to arts. So these are going to be your art class, pretty self-explanatory. So these are ways that we can express creativity in our society. So these can also be hands-on with students, like I mentioned earlier, like ceramics. But some examples of them: enjoyment of music. I don't remember. I think I took American popular music was the one that I took, and so that was super fun. People just came to class and like played music. And you just got to sit there for like 50 minutes and like learn about these people's lives and like the music that they play. So it's super awesome. Inquiry to social sciences. These are going to be like emphasize methods and principles used by social scientists. So the big one, intro to sociology. I've taken that one. Just give you all of the quick classes that I've taken in my life. So how do we understand human behavior? So like with sociology, you know, we learned about a bunch of stuff in that class, same with like intro to psychology. And for example, if you were a psychology major, this is going to be automatically built into your curriculum. But for me, I had to go out of my way to take sociology. Super fun class. Inquiry to humanities. These are going to be ethical, moral, aesthetic.
Did not finish that sentence.
What?
We can update that slide.
Okay.
Didn't finish the sentence.
That's okay. That's it. So how are we going to tell an experience or a story of a human experience? So good ones. I know a lot of people take like intro to ethics, good and evil. That's a pretty popular one. Question in the back.
I know for some majors like mine, if the core class is built into the curriculum, like there was a class nothing or like a diversity notation, but because it was within my major, it didn't count for it. So I think it depends on the major.
If it's gonna be an additional course, it'll count towards an elective essentially, so they can still take it, right? It's gonna count towards their 120 or 128 to graduate, and they essentially then get the credit, but it's already fulfilled through their major requirement.
Did you have something to add, Lila?
Yeah, so for business, we might take electives outside of business school. So, our ed students ask the same question, and I would tell them that we can take it now to the higher electives.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Okay. Research. So this one is typically going to be built in since we are a very research-based university. For example, this last semester, I took research methods in immunology, which was super fun for me. So this is going to be pretty hands-on. Most of the time, you're going to be in like a lab, but if not, you could just be doing some research for not like STEM-like majors, all that sort of stuff. So like student teaching, this is going to be, you know, being in a classroom, like doing the teaching. If I'm not mistaken, art history. I'm sure Alex has taken that one. So basically, they're going to be pretty specific to your major if they are built into your curriculum. I don't think that they're not built into your curriculum.
Required for every student.
Required for every student. Any questions about core before we move on? Yeah.
Our history is gonna be like that.
Huh?
Is what I meant.
Ah.
It's good that we're showing this to y'all now so you can catch things. Okay, questions?
Any questions? Beautiful. Okay. 5, 10, 10, 15 rule. So this is going to be your adding and dropping of courses. So the first 5 days you can add using my info. So say you like hate the class that you're in, you're just like not having a fun time, or you realize that you're not in the right class. Like this is exactly how I was my first year of college. I was in Calc 1. Didn't need Calc 1. So I went ahead and dropped it, and I added something else, and I could do it all in the system, all on my info. within the first 5 days of classes. If you go to the 10th day of class, you can add, I'm using an add drop form. So I think this is in person or could be online.
It's online because of COVID.
Online.
They're updating that process in like this immediate moment. So more info to come on where the form is. It's no longer in DocuSign.
10, another 10, the other 10, is you have 10 more days to drop your class on my info. And then 15, the 15th day of class, this is like 3 weeks into, 3 weeks into the semester, like the very last Friday. This is when you can drop using an add drop form. You need both the advisor and the teacher's signature. And so this won't affect anything on your transcript. You've dropped the class, you won't get a W, all that sort of stuff. Up until 2 weeks left in the semester, you can still drop, but you will get a W. That will be on your transcript, all that sort of stuff. When you are dropping a course, some things to keep in mind. If you are falling below like that recommended 15 credits, this could affect, if you graduate on time, it could affect your scholarships and financial aid. Living on campus, if you're not meeting that requirement, that could be an issue. Gaining residency, that's 7 credits. So if you drop too low or you add a class that has specific guidelines. Athletes, veterans, working, any sort of that stuff. So definitely keep it in mind if you are going to add or drop a course. Question?
What do you mean by working?
Working, this I think has to do with work study.
Work study, or if you are just generally, I guess I should say, considerations when adding and dropping classes, because a lot of people essentially build their entire class schedule around their work schedule.
So, getting close to the end, we'll talk about academic assistance. We have tons of resources on campus. For example, we have the Writing Center. So if you're writing a paper, we didn't take Writ 101 and it's been a couple years, you can go to the Writing Center. You do need an appointment, it's not just drop in, but they have tons of qualified people to help you kind of figure out how you want your writing to sound and all that sort of stuff. Math Learning Center, I've used this a bunch in my life, especially with stats. You go in there, they've got tons of trained people, you just raise your hand, and they're like, help me with this question, and they are there to solely help you. They love just answering all of your questions about math. You have departmental health centers, so for example, there's like the Chemistry Health Center in Gaines, Physics Health Center over in Barnard, so all of those are major, or like departmental specific, if you're having any issues there. We do also offer Smarty Cats tutoring. There are some free sessions, or you can pay for sessions, but it's like $2 a session, and that's more one-on-one, but they have more generalized like drop-in sessions with like bigger amounts of students. Super helpful. This is like very specific, like there's lots of people that are just like, these are all student-based too, so like this, tutors are students, they are there to help you, like they've taken the class before, all that sort of stuff. You also have your professors, TAs, graduate assistants, all of that sort of stuff. They are always there to help. Go to their office hours. They love hearing like students come. Personally, now that I have office hours, it's fine if somebody comes, you know? Ask questions. People love that. Advising Commons. This is in Gaines, so that's more like class specific, right?
Next slide.
Okay. Yes. Academic advising. So that's going to be related to that. So with this, you are responsible for your own, academics. You are the ones that should reach out to your academic advisors at least once a semester to obtain your PIN. And all of this sort of stuff is your responsibility. So you have to be honest with them regarding like your plans, like what classes you want to take, what classes you don't want to take, and they're overall going to help you in your 4 years here. Any questions? This is the end. Yes.
It's not really like specific. Because of our orientation, like every structure differently, is this going to be given to leaders or is it going to be
Individual.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
in the case where you have 2, maybe 2.
Yeah, in past years, this presentation is like, you combine like groups, you like sit in a room and like 2 or 3 leaders will be there. You guys will like switch slides, but today it was just me, and this is how it probably will be.
Bree and I actually did our academics one together every single time.
This is very true. members.
Yeah, given the restrictions because of COVID, we have to keep groups separate. We can't combine them all into like a group of 200, for example. So. Nice. Any questions for these guys as Bree went through that? Okay, it's already posted. This outline is already posted for you guys. You have the outline that they just handed out as well as this PowerPoint to reflect on, okay? Any questions about academics 1 before we pull up Jeopardy? We're gonna go so fast.
Yeah, it will be this exact, once we update the errors.
Ah, yes, Lila, you were here. This is just gonna be provided.
Yeah.
You don't have to edit it at all.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's not college specific anymore.
Okay, we're gonna divide into groups of 4. The coordinators can do that for you guys.
I didn't count that whole time.
I think there's like 23.
Yeah, we'll just do M over these middle, minus Lila and Ian. And then, y'all, this row back here, Chris and Trish, and then y'all.
Yeah, that's 4.
All right.
Cool. You guys, Owen, I meant Owen, sorry. You two are wearing the same thing today. The hat and the mask.
With the hats, your eyes are like hidden.
It's so hard to see. Okay, anyways. Sorry. Okay, cool.
Just have like roughly 5.
Yeah, 5 to 6.
Okay, while you're moving, get in your group. Andale, andale.
No, okay, so these guys right here, 4, we're in a row right here. So Owen, you guys are right here. Owen, you're with them. So 5. I know. 6, and then 5, 6, 5.
There's 4.
No, they have rent. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So 5, 6, 6, 5.
Okay. The way this is gonna go, it's all or nothing points. If some of these questions are like name 2 examples and you get one right and not the other, no go. You gotta get the full question. What?
I think so. It's like a real Jeopardy system.
Yeah, you're gonna lose points if you get it wrong. You can go negative.
So, how confident do you feel? All right, the way this is gonna work, you're allowed to deliberate, but it's the first person to raise their hand in their group. So I would identify someone in your group to maybe be the hand-raising person, so not all of you are like, right? One person in your group has to raise their hand. The first person in the group then that raises their hand, hey. Okay, then after you have someone from your team raise their hand, we then call on you. If you have the correct answer, you then are awarded the points. If you do not get it correctly, you lose those points, and then it opens up to the rest of the,
Yeah, it'll open up to the other people. Yeah.
How much
So-
time do you get to deliberate after you're done?
You don't have any time to deliberate after you raise your hand. You have to deliberate first, then you raise your hand. So if you don't have the answer and you raise your hand, we're gonna cut you off, go to the next team. Okay? You have like 5 seconds to answer.
You got this.
I will count.
Okay, the categories are for
I don't have to-
placement. This includes things like language placement, writing placement, math, parts of a degree, and then mystery. So basically every other presentation that we've maybe had in the last few weeks. Any questions there?
All right, so we're gonna start back there. Lila's group.
Can we give like a quick 10-second rundown of how Jeopardy works? It's been
Oh my
so
God.
long.
Okay, you're good. So you don't have to answer with a question. You don't have to answer the question. It's just pretty much trivia. You click, you say, I want this for 400.
So it just goes like team 1 will go and then like.
Well, yep. So then Lila's gonna go first. Whoever answers the question gets it right gets to go next.
Okay.
Okay? Sound good?
This
Yes.
is group 1.
1.
1.
Number 1.
Lila's team, group 2.
Yeah.
This will be group 3, group 4.
Okay. So then group 2 is gonna start first. Team 2 is gonna start first. So what do you want?
Parts of a degree, 500.
Oh, wow. Oh.
All right, so you need to describe completely what this means. So it says Ken, 121 IN, Introduction to General Chemistry, 4 credits, 2 lecture, 1 lab, 1 recitation, F, S, and U. Hang on. Okay, yeah, you need to watch. So then back to you? Okay,
So just because you choose the question doesn't mean you're the one that answers
yes,
it.
so you can answer,
So
it
it's
doesn't matter.
for the world, and then whoever raises their.
All right, everybody hands down. I'm gonna count down from 5. No, just for this first one, okay? 3, 2, 1. That was them. Okay, so you need to describe every part, or you get it wrong.
Chemistry is a department, then the number is the level of the course, level 100 course, from beginning, IN is the core department, so it's pretty natural science. Introduction to general chemistry is the name of the course, 4 credits and how many hours of each class. And it kind of specifies that 2 of those are lecture and 1 of those picnic.
Yeah.
The lecture you'll be sitting face to face with the instructor, it'll be like more group space, lab will be like more hands-on. And then those go to software, so falls. And recitation, that's the last one, I just can't see.
No, you're good. Okay. And then hit space. And then I'll give you. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So,
Since they got it, then they pick again.
yep, so you guys pick again.
But anyone can raise their hand.
Yep, so then Bree and I are gonna watch. You guys are responsible for reading the question by yourselves. Okay? So what do you guys want? Quickly. Okay. No. I saw them go first.
It's the algebra.
You have to, yeah, you guys describe it.
5, 10, 15, or the 5, 10, 10, 15. It's 5 days to add a class for the first 5 days without in add drop form, 10 days for add drop form with teacher and advisor signature, 10 days to drop a class without any signatures, and then 15 to drop without a W with signature from advisor and a teacher.
Nice.
Beautiful job. Beautiful job. That's team 3. Okay, cool. You guys pick.
Core 2.0 for 100.
I mean, I saw Owen raise his hand first, but you guys, you don't have time to deliberate though. No time to deliberate. Then that's good. Yep, they got it. Okay, now you guys pick one. So sorry, team 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw Jen raise her hand first.
Developmental units is not a course that counts towards your course, like not course load, your credits towards graduation, but it does count towards what financial aid and everything like that. It's just to help you get up to a college level course. If you're like in a 0 level course, like 096 or something for like math, it's helping you get up into a 100 level course.
Good job. Her. Beautiful. Okay.
Does everyone read this though? Counts towards financial aid and full-time status. It is factored into your GPA. You do not earn credit.
Okay. Category.
Math for 200.
Math 200.
Okay. Edready is a developmental program for incoming freshmen. It allows you to test up in classes in order to place yourself higher on the math levels.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So you guys pick. Stop. You are such a little cheat. Okay.
This is
Also, we
for
did
400.
Mystery.
Mystery 400.
Also, didn't we establish like one person?
Yeah, one person raise your hand in a group. Yeah?
The entire group.
Okay. That was you.
Students are responsible for the academic advising, and they have to make sure that they meet with their academic advisor at least once a semester, and basically kind of like evaluate that what their counselor might have advised them to put them in is like actually right for them. So like, let's say you're put into Calc 171, but you realize you only need 161, it's up to you to understand that and switch it.
That is true. Sick. Great job. Okay. category.
Let's do placement.
That was y'all again.
Okay, web shape is the language placement. It's $10. You get back credit for after you pass your first language class. You get back credit for all the classes that you passed above, and it is the alternative to club. Thanks.
Good job. Okay, you guys pick category again.
Team one, step it up.
Referees, we're raising our hands over here.
You're not quick enough. You gotta be quicker than that.
I think the visual online spacing that direction, so.
Yeah, mystery 500. Okay, I stop it. No, she didn't even click it. I'm not doing it. Yes.
Owen was in the back.
I know. Be fine. Then you back there, Mr. Raising your. No deliberation, you stink.
Wait, we had a subject. We had a subject.
Then it was you guys. You can't deliberate when you raise your hand.
I think team one should just get 3 points.
I didn't hear a single thing.
Ceremonial, demonstrative, informative, and.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That was team 3. Okay, remember, you can't deliberate after you raise your hand. You have to talk to your team beforehand. Okay? Yes? Clear? You? Okay. All right. So then you guys pick again.
Okay, let's do parts of degree 200.
Right there. Yep, that was fair and square. That one.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, oh my god.
Requirements, electives, core, and prerequisites or foundation.
Nice. Yeah! I got carried away. Okay, pick a category again.
Okay, placement 500.
Placement for 500. That. Nice.
Reason. Reason number 1. Free, like, high school college credit happened in those days. Great. ACT, 28 plus 11.
Nice.
Excellent.
Okay, here we go. SAT.
Do you know the number?
7,800, something like that? Big number? Big number? 8? 708? Yeah, just like, it's like a line, there's words, and then there's 7 and 8 and a 0 and a plus sign.
No.
Take it away from me. I don't want to.
So close, so close. You're eager back there.
750, evidence-based writing.
Evidence-based, nobody got it.
Evidence-based reading and writing. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Okay.
But you didn't get it right.
You did.
No, you didn't.
Fine. Okay, we're good. Pick category. What do we want?
Mystery 300.
Okay.
So big.
1 point. Okay, nope. Yeah. Nope. There. Nope.
Gains to a team.
Nope. Yes. So 1 person group. Raise your hand. Okay.
So team one gets those points.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're still in there.
But we're still.
I gave it to
Oh, okay.
I got it.
You got it wrong, but you got it right.
Okay. You guys pick categories.
4, 2.0, 500.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, you wanna raise your hand? You guys can deliberate, remember? Yes.
It's on mobile, so that's get oh man. Problem solving.
Hey, good job. That's awesome. Nice.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. Good job.
You got it 0.
You guys are good. Okay, you guys pick category again.
Come back in the century.
That's not a category. Oh my gosh.
No, that was Rachel?
Yeah.
Okay, Rachel.
065.
Well,
It just said name one.
I don't know.
I mean, they're co-recs though. So name one co-rec pair.
Yeah, I just said.
Name one of the Mount co-rec courses.
Yeah, no,
I need the first one list.
It's the course.
I say just no losing points, no games.
No, take the, no, we did. All or nothing.
No one gets points.
Choose one.
No, all or nothing.
You guys choose it again.
Not 400.
Okay.
And ready, and place up.
Work hard.
I mean, yeah.
That's not.
What course do they need to take?
You need to, what is that question asking?
What course do they need to take?
If you're at level 3, you want to go to level 5, get into 171. So you can go place off the map, which is 2. You
Nice.
go up to level.
Yeah.
They take
Four. Yeah, it seems like four.
Yeah, that's-
And if they don't place up,
Well, I mean, it's okay. You just are going to.
so if they don't place up, what do you advise them to take?
151.
121, what are you talking about?
I mean,
I think that's fine. They get points.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hey, it says 151 right there. You told me I was wrong. Let's go.
You said 151.
I said 151.
Pick it.
400.
I was right.
Rachel.
Okay, ways of knowing. So IS would be a ways of knowing, and that would be social sciences, which includes psych. Why it's important? It teaches us how the human mind works.
No,
And
that's
it has
wrong.
to filter our
It's not. Nope, it's not that. Who else wants to take it?
Yeah, it is.
No, it's inquiry.
Inquiry sciences are the ways of knowing.
They are? Oh, never mind.
Lindsay minus 500.
Social sciences.
Anybody want to claim Lindsay on their team? Yeah, who wants to take points off?
Send her to.
I'm gonna take points off.
Okay, let's do parts of 300.
Ah,
25%.
nope.
12.5%.
I saw you guys. You can't. Why would you say it?
We're deliberating.
Stinky.
I feel like you just want to.
Okay, go.
Math 300.
Right there. Yeah. Okay, pick one.
Placement 200.
Jen.
They need to take the math placement exam before they come to orientation, or now since Ed Ready have to take the Ed Ready exam before they come to orientation.
Nice. All right. You guys again.
Practice 200.
It was a three-way tie.
You went straight for me though.
I know I did, but I saw Owen first. You were just instinctual. I don't want to give her points. I don't want to give her points. Okay, you guys back there, go.
Number of hours per week last week is equals number of credits I got.
Cool. Okay, pick.
Or 2 out of 300.
Wow.
Yeah, Tristan.
There is inquiry to arts, which serves as a way to just like enter into arts, to have more, to start discussing arts classes, ways of discussing arts.
You just have to listen.
Oh, no, I have to give an example. Oh, of course.
Class. Yeah.
So research, research would be photo 113, which is an art core, which also serves as an arts core, as well as Film 101, which is a intro to humanities core, social 101, which is intro to IS.
Nice.
They didn't give anything.
I'm just gonna take your word for it.
What kind of rule book are you following?
Right,
We are clearly going to develop a better path forward with Jeopardy. No, we gotta finish the game.
It's my path. Tristan. Okay, pick category. Go.
Let's do mystery 200.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Good.
Strong voice and a good power type.
I would say no.
But
Does it have to be?
Yeah.
Yo, no, it was Claudia.
good posture.
Posture.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool.
She didn't describe it.
I mean.
Couldn't a strong voice match confidence?
I
If your
agree.
voice is quiet, it means that you're.
You got beeped out.
Oh, moving on.
You guys, category.
Mystery 100.
Now we go back to
Five.
5, 4, 3, 2, what? 2, 1.
Was it you?
Sorry, is it you, Chris?
It's ready.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, what? We said we said
I didn't. You didn't deliberate, so.
No.
Okay,
Lindsay, why do you always point to me first?
you guys pick a category. You didn't even read the sentence.
Read it after you.
No, you can't.
Foundation's the way of going. And?
It was one for.
Do the man.
Oh. Foundation is W, and then IA is midnight.
Nice. Such swag. Okay, new category.
Placement 100. 3+ or better, or a 4+ on the AP.
Good. Okay.
Test score on the ACT or SAT, GPA, and then Ed Ready after you get to college.
What's another possible one? What's one more that you could have? Because the GPA and the ACT are together, so you need one more.
Oh, dual credit?
Yeah. Nice. Okay, cool. Team 3, winners.
That's an asterisk win.
We're clearly gonna come up with a better way, but was this a positive experience reviewing for things? Do you guys feel like you know your stuff?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, you may go back to your seats.
I'm sorry that I'm not good enough for you all. I tried my best.
I want to see this guy next time. He goes to the yeah, where's the
Okay, we're gonna pass out the quiz. We're gonna do snack pack next week because that just took too long. But we're passing out the quiz now as soon as you guys are